Hey guys, and welcome back, or if you're new, welcome. Today I'm going to do a little bit of assessment and see how far we get on this 72 Honda SL 125 that I picked up at a yard sale about 2 weeks ago. And don't know much about it as far as its run condition. I believe he said it did run, and I think he started to do some work on it, and then you know how it got pushed to the back of the garage and never looked at again. So we are going to go and do our best to bring this back to life and making sure that it gets back on the road. So with that, I already know it needs a couple of things. One being the side cover is missing. This black cover, which shouldn't be black. The cover on the other side is missing. The front shocks were blown out of it, so they're going to need to be rebuilt. I mean, I could one hand, the front end, so there's no dampening there whatsoever. If there's even any fluid in it, and I do see a lot of oil stains around them, so I'd say the seals on those are in need. The tires look decent. I don't see any cracking, but we got to fill it up with air too to make sure that the front does not look as new as the back. The back looks like it's a new replacement tire. Still got some of the nubs on it. That's the cover that's missing. It's got the key. Gas tank is took a hit right there, and then on the inside of it, it's got some crusties growing, but not terrible on the bottom. But it's weird. It's kind of corroded on one side, right here. And if you can see those bubbles in it, I am afraid those bubbles are going to go all the way through to the inside, but we're not sure. So hopefully we don't have to get into painting the tank and all. I'd like to leave it the way it is and live with those. If I'm able to clean it on the inside and then seal it with the the cream that you put in the tank, but it feels pretty crunchy. These mirrors, I think it's got about 1,700 miles on it. I have a just a bill of sale. The state that I live in, New Hampshire, that's all you need on anything 1999 and older. So I just have to have the cops come and do what's called a VIN verification. They take and make sure that the VIN matches the bill of sale, and then they call it in just to make sure there's no funky business going on. So before I go and I buy a bunch of parts, we'll make sure that that is all good. So let me get it up in the air with the seat flipped up and get a better look at stuff and go from there. Alright, it's up in the air. I just took 2 screws out of the back of the seat. They were hand tight. I have a feeling the guy had the bike apart and he just kind of put everything on it because like the fender's loose, and let's see what we got. A mouse nest. The carburetor's got a bail on it. That's makes for easy removal, huh? Let's go whack that with a something, crack it loose. And that'll tell the tale of how it was treated. Was still had fuel in it or not. Oh yeah. It's crusty. It's going to be an issue. So I would say we should probably start with maybe getting that carburetor off of there. We'll take it apart and let that soak while we're kind of screwing with some other stuff. What do you think? Think that's a plan? I think that's a plan. I got the tank popped out of there and the fuel line off of it. Let's go give that the shake test. That's got a lot of crud in it. It looks like also it's kind of wet. Don't know if that's from leaking from the inside or not, or just something caused that. I think the tank is savable. I mean, we may have to do some, welding on it and painting on it, which I hope I don't have to, but if we do, we do, right? That's our choice. Again, with that dent right there. Again, just a lot of tarnish on everything. So all we have is two 10mm nuts, and get the air intake boot off of it, and we'll be able to get the carburetor off of that. So what would a build of mine be without having critters in it of some sort? I think those are pellets that you're supposed to put to keep rodents away. Guess not. Good thing we didn't try starting it. Sucking that crap in there, huh? I don't want to screw up that flange, but it's fighting me a little. Gotta work on the other side, it's fighting me. Let's see if we can push that guy away a little bit. We'll hit it with my favorite hammer. There we go. One filled carburetor. Hopefully nothing went. Don't feel anything down inside there. I'm going to blow compressed air in there though to make sure that it doesn't. Let's see if I can get you guys down inside there with some light. But it has a nugget down in there. You might have to take my word for it. I have to get out. There you go. You can see that little bitty. Come on. One little bitty in there. So I believe the valve is closed. So I'm gonna go again, like I said, compressed air will blow out, see if we can get anything out of that intake before we try turning that motor over and have it get sucked down in there. You can get that out of there. There it goes. Yeah, it's got that guy in the vise. Let's see if we can kind of get it apart. People keep asking what I use for the carb cleaner. Right now I'm using gunk. It's like a soaker can. And at some point I'm still trying to get an ultrasonic cleaner, and we'll try different chemicals in it, but I have not had good luck with finding that. So we are going to use these in my area anyway. You can get them right at like your local Walmart. Let's go. Can you guys see the carb? Yeah. Let's go see if we can go tap the float out. I want to tap the pin out. Sometimes these can only be driven one way, but let's go give her. Let's try driving it one way. There it goes. That needle looks like it's in there pretty good too. Let's see if we can finish driving that pin out. I'm watching it. I saw it. I've learned not to go grab for it and chase it. Just watch it with your eyes. Because then you grab it and you launch it underneath the bench. Let's see if we can get that guy out. If the bike's good, I'll definitely try to get a carburetor kit for it. See if we can get that gasket off of there. Someone was commenting. I made the comment, you got to watch out for carb cleaner on like the bowl seals and stuff, because they'll swell up. Someone's saying if you leave them sit, that the swelling will go back down again after you spray them. I have not had good luck with that, but we gotta be honest, I never really tried before to let it probably sit. You know, you're patient, you try to put it back together. Let's see if we can get that guy out of there without destroying it. I should probably get a little skinny thin screwdriver. It'll fit behind there so you can get under it. Okay. It's holding on by a hair. Free. Yeah, can we get that with a pair of vice grips? Probably not. Came out. What else do we got on this? Line off of there. These pliers are awesome for line, but I haven't seen them anymore. Again, they were like a Harbor Freight like a long time ago. They came in 3 different sizes. Great for taking tubing off. I think we might be down to some more turd in there yet. What do you think? Get rid of that maybe? See if that'll come out of there. Not damaging it much. Feels like it's glued in. Yeah, somebody glued that in. Alright. Good. I think we think that throw that whole thing inside there. And actually I'm going to blow it off with some compressed air first, try to knock off some of this just like powdery stuff, just to save my cleaner from getting too cruddy. And maybe the same with the float ball. And then we'll let that soak and we'll go back to the bike. I figure we'll get all the poison out of it. We'll pop that air cleaner open. I'm sure that has still got more in it. And we will omit the poison that's in it. Those washers off of there before I launch them. I would suspect the air cleaner is probably going to be eaten. Add that to the list. Well, you want for something that's 45 years old, right? Alright. See what kind of prizes are behind here. something jumps out at me, I'm going to scream like a little girl. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was home for somebody. Anyway, so I gotta throw a pair of gloves on and we will throw that right in the trash. Moving day. Just making sure he's not in there. Yeah. So this will be one of the times that I will use the shop vac. How's that? Shall we? Good. The next thing I want to do is see if we have spark. Which plug is that? Is that one? The key's on, the key was left on. It does have a battery in it. I don't know if this bike needs the battery for voltage to make spark or not. So if it does, we will. But for now, we're just going to go pull the plug. I don't know if it has a kill switch up on the handlebars. Yeah, it does. It's in the on position though. Plug looks new. It's new and wet. Let's see. Turn my light off. And we'll see if that makes any. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it did make a blue spark. So that's good. I think you know what's next. Alright, so I'm going to go squirt a little fuel down it and we'll see if it fires. But I'm using my little squirt bottle. That's what that is. And what that is full of is premix, no alcohol, fuel. I use premix even though it's a 4-stroke just because I want a little bit of oil on the inside of the cylinder because it hasn't been spun in a while. So it just kind of gives a little bit of help to lubricating the sides of it. It feels fine when it's going up and down, but I just didn't look inside the cylinder. So it's got no carburetor on it, so it should go in rev and then die real fast, hopefully. Let's see what that does. Let's back you guys up so you get kind of the fuller. Right about there. We hop up, give her a couple of kicks. I don't know why I'm grabbing the throttle. Feels like it's got decent compression. It's light, but nope. Not gonna go. I might have put a little too much in it. The plug's a little on the wet side, so I'm gonna go clean that off, and we'll try it again. Let's try it again. I didn't put any more fuel in it. I just cleaned that plug off. I'm going to recheck for spark and maybe we'll open the points cover, look at that. How about we try a little bit of starter fluid. It did have spark. It's weak, but it's there. that should have went. We're missing something. Let's get that point cover off. Let's crank it to the high spot. I can't tell because my eyes are not good enough. I think it looks like a normal gap. I'm going to run a file across that a couple of times too and see if that helps. Let's see if we can drag a file across them a little bit. I also think I want to take the jumper pack and input power to the battery and see if our weak spark is because we have a dead battery. I got a battery charger on it. Let's see what that does for us. Oh yeah, nice bright white spark now. I think that may have been our issue. Alright, I'm going to put a few more fuel in it. We'll see if there's a little residual in there that'll make it go. Then we'll try dribbling it if not. Let's go give her. Figure out where that exhaust leak is. That was pretty loud, huh? I wonder if it was right at the flange right there. Kind of looks dark, doesn't it? All up inside there. I don't know if I'll worry about that right now. Maybe we're just gonna concentrate on the carburetor. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the distance between there and there's got to be a good, I don't know, half-inch gap. That's where the exhaust leak is. So someone either doesn't just have that right together. I have a feeling that maybe those retainers are put on backwards. And what do we say? We take those two nuts off of that flange. We'll pull that back. You guys see what I'm talking about? Right there, so I can shine right into the port. That's your issue. Let's go pull that flange away. One of the screws is already off. Nuts rather. Yeah, I have the guess, but I have a feeling there's like two keepers that push against the pipe. I have a feeling they're in upside down, and it's just not pushing the pipe all the way forward. I have a feeling that those guys are supposed to be like that and then push against it, I think. Let's take it apart and make sure everything is what it's supposed to be. I can't even get it close enough to take the gap up that it's supposed to, so let me unbolt the pipe and see if it will. So I would say somebody put this little pea shooter muffler on it, and I have a feeling it's just clamped too far, or this piece right here might not even be the correct one. Let's see if we can loosen that up and get some wiggle room out of it. Let's take it right off. I have a feeling it was probably just too choked up on there. Let me see if it closed the gap up. Yeah, it's up against the head now. So let me go try and reassemble the front of it and see if we can close that. Yeah, so that's what it was. Those were on backwards. They were on like that, not doing anything. And they're supposed to be something like that. And then these guys get drawn up into it and clamped down. That looks better. Sorry about jumping around angles, but that's where the issue is at the time we're doing it. Okay, so that's all back together, and still waiting on the carb. It's only been 20 minutes since we put that in the juice there. Let's put a little bit more fuel in again. We'll try it again and listen to it, and should have a better sound. Still kind of loud. Not as bad, but not exactly quiet. So I figure I'm going to leave well enough alone for now, and we'll worry about it when the carburetor gets back on it. It's not as bad as it was. I'm just kind of wondering. I see some darkness between the cylinder and the head. I'm just wondering possibly it might have a blown head gasket and it's coming out from there, or just more of an issue up in here that we're not aware of. So while the carb is still soaking, letting some time go by, I figure we'll go over it and just do some more looking. Maybe what we want to do, check the lights. Key's still on. Horn. Got a horn. How about back on the other side? Headlights. Headlight, tail light. It's got a high beam. No low beam though. Tail light. No tail light. How about a brake light? Got a brake light. No tail light. All right. Yeah, it looks pretty factory. It doesn't look like anybody got in there and did anything. Probably just need some bulbs. One thing I did notice on the rear end is it looked like the fender was out of whack, doesn't it? But the more I look at it, it looks like the tire is sitting on an angle like that. And I looked up in the fender, and you can see where it's been running. It's been rubbing on the fender. I actually think it's the rear swing arm is bent that way. Not that we can't fix it, but it definitely is an issue. The rear sprocket is pretty worn. They should have like a flat top on them, so that's kind of failing. But when we take the sprocket off, we could probably set it up in a jig and we could twist that back to square again, I think. But again, I still want to get it carb on it, get it running, go through the gears and that kind of thing. Make sure we don't have any terminal issues that make it not worth doing. So he took the clutch. He said the clutch was stuck at one point, so he left it in a tied up position so that the plates don't stick together. And so that should be okay. I think actually it might be in gear right now. Shifter's a little beat up. We can straighten that out. The union's okay. Again, it's kind of like a dirt bike, so they do get kind of hammered on. How's the front end look? I see this tire being closer to this shock than this one. That could be done by loosening the triple trees, and you can kind of square that off. Alright, we're going to go in and grab a cup of coffee and do a couple of emails and stuff, and we'll let that carb soak. We'll come back and we'll have at it more. So back to cleaning the carb. It looks pretty decent. I hit it with an air gun, blew all the passages out. It's got some crud right here, so I figure we'll hit it with the brass wire wheel and knock some of that off of there just so that debris is not in there. Clean out the grooves a little bit. The float was no good. It sunk. But we had the two repaired ones from the CB350, which, let's get you out of there. I threw back in, and I think they are okay enough to run until we get a new one. So here's the one that came in it, and it's got a rot hole right there. That's not good. That's that guy. And then these are the two that we took out of the other bike and we soldered up. I thought one of these had a leak, so I threw these in there and wanted to see if one of them decided to sink. Flip them over. Let them sit a little bit longer where the repairs were, you know. I think we're going to go with that one though. So when it gets set up, we'll start getting ready to reassemble it. And yeah. So one of the YouTubers made a comment on the last video that we were cleaning a Carb, I think it was the moped, and saw that I was using the Q-tip to clean up the inside of the needle in the seat, so that that surface, that's the shut-off valve for the gas that goes inside the carburetor. I've used like toothpaste and stuff before. He said he used the hand cleaner, so I got the the fast orange kind of stuff. So why don't we give that a shot? Give it a little dab on the Q-tip, and we'll use that for the polishing agent because it's got pumice or something in there. Definitely dirtied up the Q-tip, so we'll clean that out. But we'll see how that works out for us. And let's see if we can put this back together. Again, like I said, everything was blown out. Try and keep my hands out of the way. Probably should have put that in first. And had a socket ready. Yeah, we got it. And this is the float we're going to go with. Does it go like that? I think, or like that. I'm going to go with that direction. Yep. Feels like it goes down a little too far. I'll bend that tab. Actually, what it does have, the end of that needle, there's a spring on the end of it, so I might be just compressing against that. So I'm going to go figure out if we got that. Where's the intake? Right there. I'm going to blow into that. Okay, it does work. So I'm going to leave that alone. Let's see, and that would be the max right there. And the bowl is on it. Yeah, I'm going to leave it alone for now. And if we have to. Fortunately, this one's nice and easy. It just uses a bail for the float bowl. This gets kind of crusty. Again, like I said, to order a new carb kit as long as everything's okay. We're just trying to make it run right now, that's all. And the only thing I have left is the float bowl. I still got that kind of I'll get that a little cleaner. Let that soak a little bit. I'm going to go hit that with the drill and the Q-tip and whatnot and see if we can kind of get some more of that crud out of there. And the air fuel mixture screw and the idle speed screw are going to go on the outside of it, and that should be it. And we'll get her back on the bike. So the carb's back on it, and I have a lawnmower gas tank hooked up to it for now with fresh fuel in it. And we're going to go take the line off. Hopefully it does not start pouring out and flooding over. We'll give it a second. While we're waiting for that, we'll turn the key on, get it ready to go. Turn the headlight off. Alright, I think we're ready to give her a couple of kicks. Don't see anything leaking out of it. Choke. Let's get the choke on. See what we get. That's a good sign. Still leaking exhaust, so you hear it. What I need a regular screwdriver so we can dial it in. Where'd it go? There we go. Let's give her again. The choke's back on. Still pop it in gear. Second, third, fourth. Back room's a little bent. Shut her off. Here we go. That's a good sign. Trans, has all the gears to it without putting a load on it, but seems decent. So I'm going to go and take a few minutes, and we're going to compile a shopping list for this for now, and we'll see what. I'll bring you back when I have that done. So I bolted that exhaust and just kind of get an idea of what's going on. And the end of it looks like it's got a little bit on the beat up side. I'm not sure what all that flash is hanging off. If that's been there the whole time, or was it loose and it just kind of hammered itself to a weird kind of shape. I think possibly we'll kind of maybe clean that up with one of these guys, and we'll take care of that. Hit the face with a file, and then inside the cylinder head itself is a copper ring that's supposed to be there. You can kind of see that copper ring is all sorts of distorted and hanging out in the bottom and all. So I think if we get a new one of those and bolt it back up, that should take care of that problem. Let's see how uneven that surface is. Sorry about that. Stay still. It's like part of the ring is actually embedded on the end of that. Again, sorry. Switch hands. Well, it makes contact all the way around. That's a good sign. I'm going to go back again and take some more of this. Go do it now. Noise alert. Was that as loud for you as it was for me? Well, better than what it was. I don't know if I want to pick that seal out of there until I have a replacement, but I'm going to go look and see if a VW intake manifold one is the same size. I know I got some of those. Well, I was kind of hoping I had one loose in a bunch of the engine gasket sets that I have. I had this one just in my hardware bin, and it looks like it's a little smaller than the outside diameter. And here's a kit that's still not been broken open, but you can see what I was talking about with the copper ring. And the intake manifolds pretty much look almost exactly like that. And that guy is real close to the outer edge of it. So I think we'll go try this one first, see how it fits inside the cylinder head. And if not, worst case, we'll see out of this package, but I may take a couple more minutes and see if I can find one loose before I open up a new set. So there's a set I don't want to break up. I knew I had a bag of stuff. So in there is one. And again, it's a little on the smaller side, so I'm afraid that when it goes in there, it's going to want to favor, you know, like the lower part of it. But I figure we'll pack some grease around it to hold it into place and clamp it down and just see what it does. And, you know, I'm going to place an order anyway, so I might also get one of those. But let's see if we can get something worth a damn with this. All right, I got all that bolted back up. Let's fire it up one more time, and we'll see if our exhaust leak is greatly diminished. Remember what I did. Got the key back on, that on. Let's try it no choke. Got it. Muffler's real loud, but yeah, it feels pretty good. Let's see how slow we can get it to go. I think it's at 500. Go for a ride. As I went over and I got my shop list, it's a 3F72 SL125, and we're going to be looking for parts. And we need front fork seal kit, left side cover, which is where the battery is. If I can find a better set of mirrors, I do have one that says Suzuki already that fits on it. But we can go for mirrors, the brake lever for the right hand side. I do have this guy, and we could use that one more than likely. But remember I got the ones for the CB, they were really cheap. So we'll see on that. It might be just worth getting two new ones that match. Air filter, the battery. Battery is roughly a little taller than this one. The one that's on there, I have a charger on. I'm going to leave on overnight. It's actually starting to take a charge. I don't give it much hope, but you know, we'll see how that does. It wasn't a heated basement, so the bike may have not have frozen. And I can get these for like $2-3 a piece at the scrapyard. They get changed out in, I think it's Exit Signs that run them. And there's a company that drops off all the old ones. Once they're 1 or 2 years old, they change them on a regular routine, but they still have, you know, lots of life in them. So I might go that route if the factory one is very expensive, but we'll see on that. So that's the battery. I'm gonna get a carb kit and a float, and I haven't even looked at the petcock on the tank, but pretty much every bike I've ever dealt with has had an issue with that, so we'll get one of those. The gas cap seal, I'd like to get a better muffler for it. I don't like them real loud like that. I actually kind of like them, you know, in the stock type. So I don't have to get a stock muffler, but a muffler that's quieter. And I do have a bunch of different mufflers, so I may already have something for that, but I'll keep an eye out. And then as last is that exhaust seal that we were talking about. So it's not a terrible amount of money, you know, minus the muffler and the battery. You're probably talking, you know, $60-80 worth of stuff. So I'm gonna go do my my eBay shopping and Bike Bandit and, you know, whatnot. We'll go shop around and see what we can find for it. I also, the biggest thing is going to be trying to find that cover. The covers are very expensive, and of course this one is missing. I did find this at the scrapyard for $2, and worst case we can kind of cut this down for now and make do and kind of paint it black or gray or whatever, and keep an eye out for the correct one, or one more correct than what I have here. So that's my plan. So on this one, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. I think we're pretty good to go. I'm happy with the outcome of it. You know, it needs love all the way around. Oh, I forgot sprocket. I need a rear sprocket. Before I forget. There you go. So that's one more item to put on the list. And chain I already have. I got plenty of that kind of chain. So I think we're good to go. I don't think we need directionals for it. I don't see a place where they were ever on the bike, and I think it's old enough where it did not require it. I don't see any controls on the handlebars for them, so I do not believe this bike ever came with them. So if it didn't come with it, I don't have to have it back in place. So that's about it, guys. I want to thank you all again for taking the time to hang out with me and you know, just wrench in the garage. And I'll catch you in the next video. See you later. Alright, we got an amendment to this video for your ad before all the comments come flying in. Yeah, you can't put a 12-volt battery in a 6-volt bike. It took me a bit to figure that out, but we got the right one on order. Should be here in 2 days. Slight adjustment. See if this works. Or goes horribly wrong. Oh, it's in the center of the fender now. Hopefully it didn't go too far. Actually looks pretty good. 3 fingers tight. 3 fingers tight. You get a tape measure between the shock. Might have, yeah, like I said, I might have shot it over a little bit. I don't think so though. We're gonna leave it like that. Oh, that's something different, ain't it? Let's see if we can get right in there. Come on. because I'm holding the camera. I need two hands.